Hi TYB community, welcome to the book of Proverbs. Now I know here at TYB we are all about book by book Bible study. We want you to read and be immersed in these books, and in the New Testament we're going to actually ask you to read the books in one sitting, because that's the way you get to understand the themes and everything that's going on. Now with the book of Proverbs, I'm not going to ask you to read it in one sitting. It's like asking you to eat a thick chocolate cake in one sitting. It's rich and it's dense, and you got to take bite-sized pieces and process it and really just churn its amazing, beautiful book. So when you do this book, watch this video, read our deep dives, and then what I want you to do is take as long as you like in this book. Even if you take a whole month in the book of Proverbs, this is like sitting at the feet of the wisest men and literally just gleaning practical wisdom from them. So you could do one chapter a day for 31 days, literally the whole month, take a month of Proverbs. So really immerse yourself in this book. Let me give you a quick historical context. The author of this book there's a couple of authors. We have the wise sayings in chapter 22, we have Agur, we've got King Lemuel, we've got the men of Hezekiah, and we've got Solomon, one of the main authors. Now we know in our Bibles, Solomon is found in 1 Kings and Chronicles. Let me open up 1 Kings to you. Solomon was a king of vast wealth and a king known for his wisdom. Kings and queens of different areas would come to him to just sit under his wisdom and just glean from his wisdom. He was known as a wise man. So listen to this prayer in 1 Kings. This is the key to his wisdom. He says, in 6, Solomon answered, "You have shown great kindness to your servant, my father David, because he was faithful to you and righteous and upright in heart. You have continued this great kindness to him and have given him a son to sit on this throne this very day. Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David, but I am only a child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong, for who is able to govern this great people of yours?" And Solomon asked God for wisdom. And God doesn't just give him wisdom. Because he asked for wisdom, God gives him blessing and favor. So we are able in this book of Proverbs to sit under this incredible man. Let's have a look at the date of the book. Is about 10th century BC. These Proverbs we aren't able to date them because it goes in and out of different authors. We realize it's written over a long period of time. So this is a book of weight. The structure of the book is literally 1 to 1:7 is literally the first part of the Proverbs. I'm going to read this to you because this establishes the whole book. And most of you would probably know this. 1:7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." The fear of the Lord is beginning of knowledge, and some versions say the fear of the Lord is beginning of wisdom. The entry gate to gaining wisdom in life is a relationship with God. That is the first point of call, and from that, Proverbs goes out from there. We then go 1:8 to chapter 9. We talk about an understanding of wisdom. We have lady wisdom and folly. We then go chapter 10 is Solomon Proverbs. We go chapter 22 is the sayings of the wise. Chapter 30 is the sayings of Agur, and then we have this incredible woman, Proverbs 31, the most impossible woman to ever live up to. She is an incredible woman. She's doing household duties perfectly and working perfectly, and she's a perfect wife. We all aspire to be Proverbs 31 woman, and it finishes with that. This book is about young men sitting. It's a father coming in and saying, "To my son, I'm giving you wisdom." Again, this is not a book that you need to jump in and out of. Experience this book and absolutely love it. Before I finish, I want to just quickly talk to you about lady wisdom and folly. In this book, you're going to get this understanding of two paths. You have a choice in life. Whether you go towards wisdom, towards the wisdom of God, or whether you go towards folly. And it's predominantly in chapter 1 to 8 that this is explained. In the ancient Near East, the god of the city would be in the highest place on the city. So when you have a look at chapters 1 to 9, which explains the two sides of wisdom, have a look at where wisdom is actually placed. And let me read this to you. It talks about her being in the highest point of the city. And she's on the highest point of the city because it's saying this. In ancient Near East, they would have said she is the wisdom of God. She is the wisdom coming from God and giving instruction to her people. Then we have the complete opposing woman, this seductress. She's personified as a seductress, and she's folly, and she's luring the people away from the wisdom of God. And she's saying, you don't need the wisdom of God. You don't need that wisdom. You need my wisdom. I think life, we have two choices. We can either go with God's wisdom, or we can seek wisdom on Instagram and Google search and the internet. As Christians, we are called to be in the wisdom of God. So be in this book of Proverbs. You are going to love this. Sit at the feet of some of the wisest men in history and glean from their practical application. Let me show you a couple of books before I go. Proverbs commentary is a great way of reading this book if you want to go a little bit further insight. When I studied this at college, this was my textbook, The Tree of Life. I'm going to put a review up on the site. This was a great textbook because it really explained the personification of wisdom. It explained the antithetical forms of the Proverbs. If you do this, you are this. If you do that, the opposing two paths of life. You can do this wisdom or that wisdom. If you go that way, certain things will happen, but it's like this antithetical form. So I want you to absolutely love the book of Proverbs. Dive in, experience this book, have fun.